carrier concentration in intrinsic semiconductors, and then donor and acceptor is a part of extrinsic semiconductors. So the second part, this topic can be also referred to as carrier concentration in extrinsic semiconductors. Okay. So what is the objective? Why are we studying this topic? Why this concept is important? Okay. So whenever we study anything, first we have to ask ourselves, why are we studying this? Now, why this topic is important? Uh, See, we need to determine the electrical properties of semiconductors. Fine. If we are to determine the electrical properties of semiconductor. Now, what we mean by electrical properties, for example, conductivity. If I know the conductivity, I can calculate the value of resistivity. And how can I calculate the conductivity? Conductivity is given as sigma, concentration, charge of an electron, and m- mobility of the electron. So mu n. Okay. So this is the conductivity. Now, if I look at this particular equation, if I want to calculate the conductivity, uh, what I need to know beforehand, the charge of an electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power 19, which is coulomb, which is constant, and this is mu n. This is the mobility of an electron. Okay. Now the mobility of an electron is well defined. Like if we are considering a silicon, its mobility is well defined. If we are considering or taking a germanium semiconductor, again its mobility is well defined. So what is left is the value of n. And what is n? Concentration of charge carriers, meaning the amount, the quantity of electrons. So if I want to know the quantity of electron, then I need to understand this. So it is carrier concentration in intrinsic semiconductor. Clear? So uh, what will be the learning outcomes? So at the end of this session, you'll be able to state the definition of Fermi level, Fermi direct function. Then we'll try to understand the Fermi levels in semiconductors. So to determine the electrical properties of semiconductors, uh, as it is in intrinsic semiconductor or extrinsic semiconductor, or what are the electrical properties? As I will listed out their conductivity or resistivity. So for this, we need to know the carrier concentration. Clear? Simple point. If I want to know the carrier concentration, I need to understand this derivation. Or for example, how many charge carriers are available in this semiconductor? If it is n-type semiconductor, how many number of electrons are there? If it is p-type semiconductor, how many number of holes are there per centimeter cube or per meter cube? Concentration is always, is with respect to some area. So it is centimeter cube or meter cube. In the last class, yesterday's class, we had taken up a problem, and there I distinguished for both the cases. What is the amount if I take centimeter cube or meter cube? For meter cube, it is higher. Okay. Now, again, why this concept is important? When you go higher up semesters, you might appear for the gate exams. Fine. And for gate exams, this topic, is asked all the time. Or the carrier concentration in intrinsic semiconductors. So, like if you are not aware of this charge carriers, then we cannot find the electrical property. It is as simple as that. Fine. So to analyze the semiconductor devices, this the title of the subject itself is electronic devices and circuit. So if I want to analyze the semiconductor devices, we need to know how many number of charge carriers are available. Fine. So again, kind of modeling is required here. So we have to develop equations for the hole concentration and electron concentration. So finally the objective of this entire derivation is to develop equations for hole concentration and electron concentration. So to understand it fully, we need to understand three things. Okay, side by side you can also note down this. Okay, so we need to understand three things: one, two, and three. The first thing is the Fermi-Dirac distribution function. The Fermi-Dirac distribution function. Then second, the Fermi levels, and the third, electron and hole concentration at equilibrium. So before proceeding with the derivation, we will try to understand these three terms, functions and levels. Now, to understand the Fermi-Dirac distribution, we have to first understand the energy band diagram. And I think we have covered this topic, many times. What is energy band diagram? So again, just me let me just revise what it is. So energy band diagram. So here, this is the relative energy. See, remember we don't have zero here for x-axis and y-axis. So we just, for our reference, we're going to mark this as the conduction band, and here this we will mark as valence band. So basically, what it contains inside, the discrete energy levels, okay, which are stacked together to form a band. Hence, it is referred to. Now, so notation starts from here on. I am going to mark this as EC. Now, what is this EC? It is the lowest energy level of conduction band. It is the lowest energy level of conduction band, and this, let me mark it as EV. What is EV? The highest energy level of valence band. Okay, and there are no energy states present here in between. There are no energy state present here. This is referred to as EG. And what is EG? It is energy band gap. Energy band gap, also referred to as forbidden energy band gap, or simply forbidden band, because electrons are not allowed to settle in between this energy state, because there are no energy state existing there. uh, it is actually derived from the Schrodinger's equation. There's something called as wave theory, and the, one second, I'll just give call afterwards. Yeah, there exists a discontinuity here in the energy band gap. So there are no energy level state present here, so which will be occupied by the electron. So now from this diagram, what is important is EC, EV, and EG. Okay, EC is the lowest energy level of conduction band, EV is the highest energy level of valence band, and EG is the energy band gap. Some textbook use this notation, capital EG. Fine. Next, so based on the material, this forbidden band gap will vary. So for semiconductor, it is small, and for conductors, it is overlapping. Fine, I'll not draw those diagrams again. Just visualize. For semiconductors, that forbidden uh, gap is small as compared to the insulators. In the very first class, we had discussed what is the values and all. For insulators, that gap is more than 3 electron volt. Theoretically, if we provide that much of energy, electrons can jump into the conduction band. But practically, what will happen at that particular energy? The If it is wood, then it will catch fire. Fine. So we need to know the distribution of electrons over this energy level. So that is why we are studying Fermi Dirac distribution function. Fermi Dirac distribution function. Now, what it tells us is the distribution of electrons over a range of allowed energy levels at a thermal equilibrium. I think better I write it down. It tells us about the distribution of electrons over a range of allowed energy levels at thermal equilibrium. So in simple words, we have this band, conduction band and valence band. These bands are made up of discrete energy levels. Fine. And then this Fermi-Dirac distribution is going to tell us whether these uh, electrical energy levels are occupied or not. For example, okay, simple example. See, if I take a conduction band, and in the conduction band there are say 100 energy levels. Fine. Now that means it can occupy 100 electrons. Now this the Fermi-Dirac distribution function will give us the probability whether say a particular energy level is occupied or not for a given temperature. Fine. We'll solve one problem based on this so you get a clear idea. Now it is expressed as understood what is Fermi-Dirac distribution function. Conduction band is composed or is made up of different energy levels. Fine. Say if there are 100 energy levels. So let us consider one energy level, that relative energy level. One energy level is say 1.2 electron volt. Now from the Fermi-Dirac distribution and the given temperature, we can make out whether that energy level is occupied by electron or not. So it tells you about the occupancy in simple words. Fine. It's a kind of probability. So it is represented as expressed as 1 upon 1 plus E. How we arrived at this equation is not important. Fine. So we're going to start from here on. So Fermi-Dirac distribution f of E is equal to this expression to your right hand side. Now, what is more important is to know what are these notations. Fine. So I hope you people are also taking these notes. This is allowable energy level. Allowable energy level. In other words, there are no energy levels in forbidden gap. So we're going to strictly, stick to our discussion only for conduction band. Conduction band, you can just think of it as a pile of energy levels. Okay, so 100 energy levels are stacked together to form a conduction band. Then this E here, I'll change the ink white. This E here is the energy level. Okay, the same energy level. EF is the Fermi level. K, okay, T is the temperature in degree Kelvin. K is Boltzmann constant. The value is 8.62 into 10 to the power minus 5 electron volt per Kelvin, or 1.38 into 10 to the power 23 joules per Kelvin. Okay, so this f of E is Fermi-Dirac distribution function. So basically it's a probability distribution function. Let me write here. Probability distribution function. Okay. And look at this equation. If f of is going to get changed, then it will be on account of what? It will vary with the allowable energy level. For example, in the conduction band, there are say hundreds of energy level. If I want to check out whether there's an electron here, meaning it's present or not, so to calculate that probability, to find out the distribution function, what I need to know beforehand is the value of Fermi level for a given material. This is the allowable energy level, meaning it has to exist within the conduction band, and the temperature. Followed? Now I'll take up two cases for you all to understand properly. Okay, the first case, what is this Fermi level? As we progress, you'll understand much better way. So I'll take a first case, case 1. If energy is equal to EF, fine. So that means F of EF. So I'm going to use the notation F here, subscript F, which equals to 1 upon here 1 plus. If I'm substituting E as EF, see here E equals to EF in this expression. So it is e raised to 0. So e raised to 0 is 1. So it is half. So what it states now? So that is the energy state which is at a Fermi level has a probability of half of being occupied by an electron, or 50% probability that energy state is occupied. So in case of intrinsic semiconductor, we have a Fermi level right at the center. Again, why it is at the center we'll discuss as we progresses. So if E equals to EF, the probability of having an electron there is 50%. Okay, and this is the reason why we take the Fermi level as a reference level. This Fermi level is always taken to be as a reference level. So if there are 100 electrons in the conduction band and if there are 100 holes in the valence band, this Fermi level will be right at the center. Okay, if the number of electrons in the conduction band increases, how it can increase? By purely doping it by pentavalent impurity. Then this Fermi level is going to shift towards the conduction band. This we're going to discuss little later. Okay, I'll take the second case. So to get a clear idea, case 2, second case, let us mark this energy level is very much greater as compared to EF. EF is normally at the center, Fermi level. Okay, here there is down, there is a valence band. Now, what if E is very much less than EF? Okay, see, now again F of E will be equal to 1 plus E minus EF by KT. See, this mathematical expression, tells you so many things. Now, we'll take a thermal equilibrium. Let us mark this T equals to 0. So, F of E will be equal to 1 upon 1 plus E. Okay. Now, this is E is less as compared to EF. So, that means EF is greater here. E minus EF will be negative term. Fine. So, this will be negative term. The numerator will be negative divided by T. I am taking it as 0, thermal equilibrium. So it is 1 plus negative divided by 0 is towards this end, minus of infinity. And minus of infinity, e raised to minus of infinity is 0. So it is 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. Now, how we are going to interpret this value of 1 here? Try to understand. If energy level is less than EF, where is EF? Here in the center. Okay. Now your energy levels are below the conduction band. Here this is the conduction band. Here we are having valence band. For this case, when energy level is less than the Fermi energy level, at t equals to 0, all these electrons will be present in the valence band. And since t equal to 0, there are no electrons present in the conduction band. So in other words, the probability of finding electrons in the valence band is 100%. That is 1. I hope it is clear to all. So at t equals to 0, see we had started with our discussion. Semiconductor at t equals to 0 will act as an insulator, because at that point of time there are no electrons present in the conduction band, which are referred to as free electrons. Only at room temperature, there are some electrons which will get some external energy, say from a thermal excitation, and they will acquire this higher energy and go into conduction band. The moment they go into the conduction band, they will act as a free electron, and the number of free electrons will constitute a current. Simple fact. Now here what it says, the energy, we are trying to find out whether electron is present at this energy level E or not. If that energy level is less than EF, if that EF is at the center, see here, I'll just redraw it again. Conduction band, valence band, and this is your energy, EF. This E is less than EF. That means there are no energy states in between. That means this E has to be somewhere in the valence band. Fine. So this is E. Now, what it says, if there is an electron present on this line or not. Fine. So if I substitute the values in this standard equation, I'm going to get a value of F of E, that is what? Probability of having electron in that energy level is 100%. I hope it is clear. Fine. So we move on to the next point. Case 3. We have taken 2 cases. Now we'll go for case 3. Which was the case left? When energy is greater than EF. Okay. At t equals to 0. So I'll just write again. F of E will be equal to 1 upon 1 E. So what was the equation? E raised to E minus EF. E minus EF. So E is greater than EF. See, this is, I'll just write the equation. E minus EF by KT. This is the expression, okay? Now, here E is greater than EF, higher value as compared to EF. So, this will return me a value 1 upon 1 plus E raised to some positive value. And since I'm taking t equals to 0, okay, this is 1 upon 1 plus E raised to, anything divided by 0 is infinity, and you know that E raised to infinity is again infinity. So 1 upon 1 plus infinity. So 1 divided by infinity is 0. Now what it means? We have, see, this is, everyone is to understand this, okay? So we have a Fermi level, okay, right at the center. This we have marked as valence band. This we are marking as conduction band. Now what it says, I take randomly some energy level. These are energy level in terms of electron volt, okay? So they does not exist, and this is the fictitious, fine, for our reference. Now if I take some value of E which is greater than EF, so naturally it has to lie in the conduction band, okay? Now at t equals to 0, if I substitute, what it says, I'm getting a value of probability distribution as 0. Fine. So at t equals to 0, you're not going to have any electrons in the conduction band. Previously, when E is less than EF, case 2, when E was less than EF, this value F of E was 1. Meaning what? We had 100% confidence that electrons will be present at that level. But when I take E very much greater than EF, the probability of having electron at that energy level of E is 0. And we know this by a theoretical formulation, that at t equals to 0, at 0 temperature, the semiconductor will act as an insulator, because in the conduction band there are no free electrons. Fine. So as I said, like we have a theoretical background, and that has to be supported by mathematical equations. Okay. Now let me plot this. I'm going very slow so you all understand this. Okay. So this is the energy level E. This is the distribution F of E. Okay. So let me mark this as 1, this as 0. This is the probability of 0 and 100%. Okay. At EF, the Fermi level, the reference, okay, the center one. Okay. Now, when the energy is less than EF, so when the energy is this, when this energy is less than EF, the probabilities of finding electrons is 1. Okay. If the value of E is greater than EF, then the probability of finding electron is 0. Fine. This is called as numerical analysis. Now what we are doing is graphical analysis. Like this is half, this is at Fermi level. So there's a transition taking place here. The moment you are making E greater than EF, see here, E greater than EF, the chances of finding electrons is 0. Here, 0. Okay. Now, energy state which are less than the Fermi level are filled with electrons, whereas the energy levels which are greater than the Fermi level are unfilled or empty. Followed? So this is what is filled with electrons, and these are empty. Okay. Or there are no electrons in those energy states in the conduction band. Now, what will happen if we increase the temperature? So far, we had played very safe. We said T equals to 0. Now, what will happen if we increase the temperature? See, if I increase the temperature, refer to our theoretical background, electrons in the valence band will gain some energy. Fine. See, electrons will move from one band to another band, or one energy to another energy, only when it acquires some energy from external field. Fine. Here we are saying at, if we increase the temperature, increasing the temperature meaning we are providing some energy, some thermal energy. So finally it's energy. So electrons in the valence band will gain some thermal energy, and they will move to the conduction band. And if the energy gap is small, like for example in case of semiconductors, then this electron will readily move from valence band to the conduction band, leaving behind a hole. Okay. So let me draw the corresponding diagram. See, in electronic engineer, you have in this course, ETC, you got too many mathematical subject formulations and the graphs. The integral part of your studies for next 3 years now. Okay. This we already found. This is probability of 1, probability of 0, and this is half. Okay. So this was the diagram for t equals to 0. I have borrowed from here. Fine. T equals to 0. What if now I increase the temperature? What if we increase the temperature? Okay. Now, if I increase the temperature, the diagram, I'll draw the diagram first. Now, how do we read this graph? So, if I increase the temperature, the electrons from valence band will go into the conduction band, leaving behind hole. Okay. So here now we are going to have empty states. These are called as empty state. Why? Because the electrons has left from its parent position. So some energy levels will be empty. Okay. And these electrons will go into the conduction band. So it is represented here in this region now. So this is electrons in the conduction band. So this value we are obtaining from this equation f of E. Okay, so this region is referred to as f of E. This is Fermi level, and this, since we are dealing with the probability, so here this will be 1 minus f of E. So this is important. If this is 0.3, 30%, this will be 70%. It's a 1 minus f of E. Fine. So how many empty states are there? We can calculate using this. I hope this is clear to you all. We'll take a break and we'll solve this problem. Find the temperature at which there is 1% probability that a state with energy 2 electron volt is occupied. Okay, this is numerical. So as I said yesterday, always start with given data. What is given here? With energy 2 electron volt. So we have to check out whether at this random energy level E, which is marked as 2 electron volt, whether there is electron present or not. What else information is required? E of F, which is given as 1.5 electron volt. So which is this case when E is greater than EF. So this belongs to our case 2, when E is greater than EF. Fine. So to calculate the Fermi Dirac distribution, we have to make use of this formula f of E equals to 1 upon 1 plus E minus of EF by kT. K is Boltzmann constant and T is the temperature. Fine. Now, so how do I interpret this equation? Now it will be much more clear to you all. If I'm having a semiconductor with a conduction band and a valence band, at the center we have the Fermi level, which is a reference. Fine. So it is EF equals to how much? 1.5. Okay, because this is the relative energy level. E is 2 electron volt. So in the conduction band, there is somewhere this E, which is 2 electron volt. Now, what is the task here? What is the objective? We are told to find out for this particular setup and for E equals to 2 electron volt, whether there will be electron present or not. Okay. So there's a probability of 1%. It's already given that there's a probability of 1%. So what should be the temperature? So what is asked is the temperature. Find the temperature so that 1% probability is that there will be electrons at this energy level E. So substitute. I'll just run through this problem. E minus EF will be equals to 0.5 electron volt. Then F of E is 1%. So from here it is 1 by 100 equals to 1 upon 1 plus E 0.5 divided by kT. Then just simplify this. I take here E raised to 0.5 divided by kT equals to 0.99 by 0.01, which is equal to 99. I'm just taking this side. So taking log on both the sides, 0.0 electron volt by kT equals to 2.303 log of 99. The value of K is 8.61 into 10 to the power minus 5 electron volt. So T is 1262 Kelvin. Answer. The temperature at which the probability of 1% occurrence of electron is 1262. From this, what idea you got? If I'm going to have a probability of 1% of electron present at that energy level E, I should provide it with a temperature of 1262 Kelvin. Okay, this is just for you all, to get an idea how we can use this for numerical application. Now let us make it, slightly complex. What the f of e indicates now? What this f of e indicates now? Now it indicates the probability that the energy state which are greater than ef are occupied by the electrons. Fine. Let me write this again. It indicates the probability that the energy states which are greater than ef are occupied by the electrons. You also can note down this, huh? and and 1 minus f of e indicates that the energy states which are less than E of f are empty states. Okay, then this way it's in 1 0. This is f of e with respect to e. This is Fermi level ef. Fine. At t equal to 0 we are going to get this as the response. Fine. In line with this, as I increase the temperature, then this is what I'm going to get. This is for t equals to 0. This what I've drawn is for T1 which is greater than T, and if I still increase the temperature, this is what I'm going to get, T2 which is greater than T1. Okay, this what we already discussed. This is the empty states, and these are corresponding filled states in the conduction band. So you see this f of e is symmetrical about ef, when this is ef, the reference level. Now we'll try to apply it to the intrinsic. Now we have started, say, like for example, to carrier concentration in intrinsic semiconductors. For that we need to know the three things which I had listed right in the beginning. And what were the three things for which we need to study this? Is like Fermi Dirac distribution function, the Fermi level, and electron and hole concentration. Okay, now we are going to start with the first application. The first application is Fermi distribution applied to semiconductors. Fermi distribution applied to semiconductors. So here I'm having a conduction band, again a valence band. This energy level is represented as EV. This energy level is represented as EC. Make sure that you understand the notations, okay? And here this is the relative energy level. This is referred to as EG, the energy band gap. This is a reference, fictitious concept. This is the Fermi level. Since we are dealing with intrinsic semiconductor, applied to, this is the first case, okay? Intrinsic semiconductor. I forgot to mention intrinsic semiconductor. So you have to write EFI. See, the notations are most important here in this subject. So Fermi level EF equals to EF of I. I stands for intrinsic, or you can simply write this as EI, no harm. Okay. Now this is filled with electrons. Okay. Now, when the if I supply it with some temperature, these electrons will travel to the conduction band, leaving behind holes. Okay. Now, if I draw the Fermi Dirac distribution, the same one. Okay. This is the one on a common axis I'm trying to draw. So this is probability 1, this is probability 0, then here. Okay. Now, this is the holes. So these are the empty states represented here, and here there are filled electrons. This is F of E, and this is 1 minus F of E. So now in this case, the Fermi where the Fermi level lies, because the number of holes will be equal to number of electrons. So Fermi level always will lie at the center of the band gap, the energy gap. Fine. Is this clear? Where this Fermi level lies, what it reflects? It reflects like the concentration. If the number of electrons is equal to number of holes, it will lie at the center. If the number of electrons are more, it will shift towards the conduction band. If the number of holes are more, p-type semiconductor, this will shift towards the valence band. Now, if we apply Fermi-Dirac distribution to this semiconductor, what will happen? I hope you people are noting this down. In n-type semiconductor, third, for p-type semiconductor. So let me draw the structure again. Conduction band, valence band. Here there are electrons present right in the beginning, and some holes are created, and there are some electrons here. This is the conduction band, again a valence band. This is marked as EC, energy level of conduction, least energy level of conduction band, highest energy level of valence band. And now this EF, the Fermi level, this earlier for intrinsic, it is right at the center because number of holes equal to number of electrons. In n-type semiconductor, as the number of electrons are more, this Fermi level will shift towards the conduction band. So this is the Fermi level. And since we are talking about an n-type semiconductor, I'm going to use the subscript n. Okay, this Fermi level will be to the conduction band. Clear? Then again, if I draw the F of E, then this is half, this is 1. So now this will be the reference E of F, isn't it? So at this point, so now this is the 1 minus F of E, the empty states, and these are the conduction, F of E. Likewise for p-type semiconductor, we're going to have holes as majority charge carriers. Number of holes will be more, number of electrons will be sparse or less. Now in this case, this EF, the Fermi level, will shift towards the valence band, and this can be written as EFP because p-type semiconductor. Here n-type semiconductors. So get used to these notations. This has to be dotted reference. Now again, if I want to plot the probability distribution Dirac function, so this is the probability 1, probability half, and I said it is always symmetrical with the Fermi level, center, and this. Clear? Now, what is more important here? This EC See, what was our objective is to find the carrier. We are still midway of this derivation. I'm going very slow so that you understand this notation, because this notation is the backbone of this subject. We're going to use it again and again. So this EC minus of EF, what EC where it is pointing to EC minus EF here. This EC minus EF will give the number of electrons. Let me write, will give the number of electrons per centimeter cube. And here in this case, for p-type semiconductor, this is EV. Fine. So it is EF minus of EV. This difference, okay, will give you the hole concentration, meaning the number of holes. So the probability of electrons occupying the available energy level will be less in case of p-type semiconductor in the conduction band, so that the Fermi level will be, it will move closer and closer to the valence band. Now, why it is closer to the valence band? Because the number of holes are more as compared to the number of electrons in the conduction band. It's very easy to remember. Nothing to by heart here. This the Fermi level has got an affinity to move towards the majority charge carriers. For p-type semiconductor, the holes are majority charge carriers, so the Fermi level will move closer and closer to the valence band. And here, in case of n-type, it will move towards the conduction band. Okay. Electron concentration is equilibrium. Electron concentration at equilibrium. So concentration is given as n, electron concentration. N subscript O is equilibrium. Fine. Is directly proportional to F of EC, Fermi-Dirac distribution. Fine. Now we can write this as NC into F of EC. Mark this as expression 1. Now we are actually starting with the derivation. So in the textbook they start derivation from here. Now you know what is EC, what is F of EC, what is NO, and so on. Now this NC, can write it down, note it down. It is the energy density of states, meaning how many locations, how many positions are possible for energy level, how many states, energy states. In simple words, it means how many energy levels are there to occupy the electrons, and two electrons cannot occupy the same level. Pauli's exclusion principle. Okay. Now this NC is given as 2 pi into the effective mass of electron into kT over 3 by 2 divided by square of Planck's constant into Q 3 by 2. Okay. This K is again a Boltzmann constant. T is here, T is temperature, Q is charge of an electron. Okay. Now this, I know this expression is very difficult to remember, so we can use this instead. NC equals to 4.82 into 10 to the power 15 mn by m to the power 2 t raised to power 3 by 2 per centimeter cube. Since we are talking about a volume, the concentration, the quantity in given area, it is per centimeter cube. Again, this data will be provided in the problem statement, but you can memorize this. Okay, this is the energy density state. How many energy levels are there? Fine. Now this Mn is the effective mass of electron. Effective mass of an electron, and this m is the rest mass. So electron at rest will have this mass, rest mass of an electron. Normally this mn and m values are specified, otherwise you can take it as 1. Okay, mn equals to m. Now we know, you can note down this. Okay, we know f of e Fermi-Dirac distribution equals to 1 upon 1 plus e uh, e minus ef by kt. This is the expression what we're having. Okay, this tells about the probability of e. Okay, here what we're trying to find out here, equation number 1 is the carrier concentration. Carrier concentration is electrons in intrinsic semiconductors. Okay, it is a product of Nc into f of Ec. There are two ways to solve this derivation. This is the one approach I'm showing. The second approach, I will uploading the video directly. That's totally different approach. This is much more simpler to understand. So NO is the concentration. So this concentration depends upon what? Number of states possible and the probability of occupancy of those energy levels. Meaning, if I talk about a hostel, in a hostel there are 100 beds, and how many beds are occupied? That number of occupancy will be given by f of EC. Clear? That together will give us the concentration of electrons. Now, if I write here, if E is EC is greater than EF, fine, EC is greater than EF, then F of EC, the energy level in the conduction band. Energy in the conduction band is greater than Fermi because conduction band lies above the Fermi level, which is at the center. Okay, so F of EC, so F of EC will be equal to, sorry for disturbance, uh, will be equal to 1 up. Okay, when I'm going to replace E as EC, which is greater than EF. So this term will be very much greater as compared to this unity 1. So I can write this as E raised to EC minus EF by KT, which can be written as E raised to minus of EC minus of EF by KT. Mark this as expression 2. Now, if we substitute 2 in equation 1, okay, if we substitute 2 in equation 1, what we get is NO equals to NC, density of states, into E raised to minus of EC minus EF by KT per centimeter cube. Okay, mark this as equation 3. Let us simplify this. Okay, I'll just run through this. EC minus of EF by KT equals to natural log of NO by NC. See, the notations are very much important. Okay, so EC minus of EF by KT equals to natural log of, see, negative sign here. I can interchange the numerator and denominator, eliminating this negative sign. So it will be NC by NO, okay, which equals to EC minus EF equals to KT natural log NC by NO. Now this is the expression you can recollect. Somewhere I have mentioned, if I want to calculate the number of electron, it is the difference of EC minus EF. You recollect? Okay, EC minus EF will discuss. We'll talk about the number of electrons. Now, EC minus of EF. Now here we are talking because of, say, if it is a n-type semiconductor, I can write this as E of n, okay, which is equals to KT natural log NC by ND. Now, how can I write NO equals to ND? What is ND? ND is donor concentration. Donor concentration in n-type semiconductor. Fine. Number of donors equal to number of electrons, because there are no acceptors in. Again, this I'll explain you in detail in the next class. For charge densities in semiconductors, we have a donor ND plus P equals to Na plus N. N is number of electrons, P is number of holes, Nd is the atoms which are donating the electrons. The moment they are donating the electrons, the net positive charge will be more. For example, phosphorus, okay, it has got 15 atomic number, so 2, 8 and 5. So what it does is it gives away one electron. So 2, 8, 4, 14. So there are only 14 electrons and 15 protons, so it will marked as a positive ion. Na is the acceptor. Boron has got 3 electrons in the outermost orbit, so there is a vacancy. So what it does, it will accept one electron, so the net negative charge will be more. So this is Nd plus P. So finally neutrality has to be mentioned, they're not going to go out of the box. So Nd plus P, the net positive charge equal to net negative charge. Okay, now this is the donors. How, if I'm doping it with say 100 phosphorus, I'm going to get 100 electrons. Okay, if I'm going to 100 borons, I'm going to get 100 borons, because each atom is going to contribute one electron, excess electron. Fine. So I can write this NO as ND. Fine. So this is the all important equation. I can write somewhere here. I write, okay. NO is equals to capital ND. So this is the donor concentration. This is the donor concentration in n-type semiconductor. Fine. So this is the all important equation. Now we have just calculated the electron concentration. Electron concentration. If you recollect, if this is the conduction band, valence band, then this is the EC and E of n, the Fermi level for n-type, which is closer to the conduction band. So if I'm able to calculate this energy gap, I can calculate the number of electrons. So this is how it is done, EC minus of EF. Okay, I think it's almost time up. So next class we're going to discuss about the whole concentration. Tomorrow is the tutorial class. So tomorrow's class I will continue with this derivation. And